It's midweek. You are tired, hungrier than you planned. The easy option is in your hand, but you choose to close the app and cook. And that's when doubts creep in. Isn't this what clogs arteries? But this isn't being compared to perfection. It's being compared to what was about to arrive in that paper bag. And over the years, that swap matters. Across herd healthy populations, three things consistently work together in ordinary everyday meals like this, not trends or patterns. I am Gina, and through VitalCook, I study how everyday cooking decisions quietly shape long term health. And once you see the pattern, that pan stops looking dangerous and you exactly know how to protect it. Most people think heart healthy eating begins at the grocery store. What you pick, what you avoid. It does, partially, that's true. But in reality, majority of it starts in our own kitchen. What we eat every day and how we cook it. When researchers zoom out across countries, cultures, and decades of data, a pattern keeps repeating. In heart-healthy populations, three things come regularly across their daily meals: what kind of fat they are using, how their plate is structured, and what are the sources of omega-3 they are using. And these work synergistically. They are not separate items. And it is the regularity and the repetition that actually supports health. Building the plate is about building meals that digest slowly. Meals with structure, fiber, chew, and density are linked with gentler post-meal lipid responses. This works because plants slow digestion, unsaturated fats improve how the body handles lipids, and omega-3s influence inflammation and triglycerides. Together, they soften the metabolic load of everyday meals. This is the rule of thumb: how to plan what shows up most often across a week on your plate. But planning doesn't protect the heart by itself. Every planned meal still has to survive the pan. And these eating patterns survive because a cooking system supports them. Across heart-healthy kitchens, three things keep meeting in the same pan: unsaturated fat, plants, and gentle heat with aromatics. Plants support vessels. Aromatics like garlic influences signaling. Olive oil protects compounds and carries them through cooking. Extra virgin olive oil is minimally processed. It retains polyphenols, compounds associated with antioxidant activity. Refined oils lose much of this. Across Mediterranean dietary studies, including PREDIMED, daily extra virgin olive oil within a plant-forward diet was associated with reduced cardiovascular events. Other unsaturated oils can still provide lipid profiles when replacing saturated fats. But extra virgin olive oil layers fat quality with polyphenol density. There is a common belief that extra virgin olive oil should only be used cold, as a finishing drizzle. But moderate heating, like sauteing or simmering, is well within its stability range. High quality extra virgin olive oil typically has a smoke point around 190 to 210 degrees Celsius, higher than most everyday simmering temperatures, and heat supportive cooking rarely requires aggressive heat. What damages oils is prolonged high heat, repeated reheating, or letting them smoke. Gentle sauteing, especially with vegetables that release moisture, keeps temperatures lower and more stable. Interestingly, the natural antioxidants in extra virgin olive oil may help protect it from oxidative breakdown during moderate cooking. That's one reason it performs well beyond just raw use. When unsaturated fats are protected in the pan, their benefits actually shows up in your body. Overeating fat increases oxidation, which is a process consistently linked with vascular stress. Salt isn't the primary villain people imagine. Most excess sodium comes preloaded in ultra-processed foods. When seasoning is done during cooking and tasted gradually, less total salt is needed. Herbs, garlic, acidity, and layering all reduce reliance. The issue isn't presence, it's source and accumulation. In fact, when salt comes from home cooking, studies have shown that it reduces the risk dramatically. When you salt early and taste as you cook, you use less salt. overall. Salt food while it cooks and stop salting at the table. And another way of reducing salt is flavor layering. Using herbs and spices and acid, they also increases flavor without the need of much salt. Omega-3s don't need to be daily, they need to be regular. 1 or 2 servings of fatty fish per week is consistently associated with lower cardiovascular risk. When fish isn't feasible, nuts and seeds contribute. Supplements are secondary unless food intake is consistently low. With omega-3, you just need to aim for presence, not perfection. Consistency matters more than form. Red meat isn't poison, but frequency and portion matter. Higher habitual intake correlates with higher cardiovascular risk. Think of it in a supporting role, not center stage. Reduce, don't restrict. Ultra-processed foods, even plant-based ones, are consistently associated with higher cardiovascular risk, not because they're evil, because they displace fiber structure and cooking patterns that protect. They compress energy, they reduce chew, and they bypass the system. If you can cook a version of this at home, that's an upgrade. Home cooking doesn't need more time. It needs fewer decisions. You can repeat meals. You can have a purposeful pantry built with some default oils and ingredients, and you can rotate your dinner choices. Heart health doesn't need a complete reset. It just needs a little tweak in direction. You may start with one plant-based meal a week, or you may want to replace one takeaway per week with a home-cooked meal, or include fish in a meal. It's all about the tiny tweaks. And with meal preps ahead, it can fit in your daily busy schedules as well. So now you know heart health doesn't come from restrictions or one-off healthy eating. It shows up as gentle heat, more plants, seasoning done intentionally, as a repeatable pattern in everyday kitchen. If these habits feel doable, hit that like. And if this lens helps, you'll find more of it through VitalCook. Tell me in the comments which step you have been missing or overlooking. Follow for full detailed videos coming soon on building the everyday plate and cooking it right for heart health. Subscribe to be notified when they go live.